Major real-life wrestling heat, WWE's expansion into Japan, my review of AEW Dynamite, and more. I'm Ollie Davis, and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Wrestling betrayals usually happen in the coolest way possible. Maybe you hit your former brother in the back with a steel chair. Perhaps you say, "Well, it's getting hard in here," to take off your shirt to reveal you're wearing your once sworn enemy's logo. Or maybe you just start getting obsessed with personal hygiene. But the real life ones are often far less flashy, which arguably makes them more painful. I hope you're happy with Tommy, Megan! Really happy! Rossy Ogawa, the founder and previous head producer of the biggest women's wrestling promotion in the world, Stardom, was fired from his position in February due to alleged talent poaching. Due to reported creative frustrations, Ogawa apparently decided last year he would start his own wrestling promotion. But rather than resign from Stardom and launch a startup, he allegedly tried to create a breakaway faction while still in the company. Those allegations got a bit of support and evidence when, upon being fired from Stardom, Ogawa did launch his own promotion, Dreamstar Fighting Marigold, with several prominent Stardom wrestlers defecting to join him. Now, Ogawa's former boss Takai Kadani, the president of Bushiroad, which also runs New Japan, has claimed Ogawa tried to blatantly betray the company while working for them, because he wasn't only trying to recruit the wrestlers, he was allegedly trying to steal Stardom's business partners to sponsor him too, as Kadani recalls. One of our business partners said to me, "Ogawa-san is here. He said, 'I'm starting a new company, so please become a sponsor. What do you think of this?' I said, 'You can turn him down. I've never seen anyone do it so openly. I don't think there's any more blatant betrayal like this.'" Ogawa doesn't just have heat with his former Japanese boss. Tony Khan reportedly felt that Ogawa was blocking AEW from using more Stardom wrestlers, which has now started happening following Ogawa's departure. And former AEW World Champion Kenny Omega recently said on a Twitch stream that someday people will know the truth about Ogawa, and warned anyone set to work for Marigold to be very hesitant. Interestingly, one of the first wrestlers to join Marigold was new WWE signee Julia. WWE have seemingly established a working relationship with Ogawa based on them letting Marigold use Julia while under WWE contract. Io Sky and Kairi Sane will also reportedly be loaned to them by WWE in the summer. And going by a new interview, WWE want to do the same with more Japanese promotions. Japan, along with the United Kingdom, is one of the proxy battle zones of the AEW versus WWE global war, with each side forging local allegiances within the territory. AEW is aligned with New Japan and Stardom, for instance. So WWE will likely go for New Japan's competitors, namely 3 companies under the Cyberfight Inc. umbrella, that being Noah, DDT, and Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. At a recent press conference, the appointment of new Cyberfight president Yasuki Okamoto was announced, along with a new mission statement: strengthen relationship with WWE. Curiously, it was also announced that Keiji Muto, aka WWE Hall of Famer The Great Muta, had been appointed as Noah's scouting advisor. Shinsuke Nakamura was loaned to Noah in 2023 to wrestle on Muta's retirement show. Perhaps soon, AEW won't be the only promotion with a forbidden door. Before I get into my AEW Dynamite review, this Saturday will see the biggest video us here at WrestleTalk have ever done. It's almost 2 hours long. We usually make 10 to 15 minute videos. It has literally been months in the making. Pete has deconstructed Roman Reigns' entire Bloodline title run. Here's a tease.
Spanning nearly 4 years, Roman Reigns has been ruling as the head of the table.
Fans were just so sick of being force-fed what they were supposed to like.
Family, tradition, legacy, the responsibility of being champion. Those are the pillars of Reigns' new character.
I think it might be the best storyline WWE have ever done.
And if you compare how they handled Jay joining and how they handled Jimmy, one feels significantly more anticlimactic than the other.
I think there was a time where we all thought Sammy was the person.
Cody brought in The Rock as a replacement for himself. Who wrote that? Join me as I take a look at Roman Reigns as world champion and the Bloodline from start to finish.
Please support us making these long-form videos by commenting on it, something nice preferably, sharing it, and most importantly, watching it. Subscribe and enable notifications to always on for WrestleTalk to know first when it goes live. But now it's time for my review of AEW Dynamite in about 5 minutes. The show got off to a wild start with Carl Fletcher and the Callis family's hired muscle Jeff Cobb jumping Moxley during his entrance, all smartly building to the hometown boy pop when Bryan Danielson ran down for the save to continue brawling while his music played for an extra loop, just like AEW have done in the past with Anarchy in the Arena. Mox hit a Death Rider to win a really fun opening contest where Danielson and Takeshita celebrate. Hey, wait a second! Takeshita's not in the Blackpool Combat Club? Oh right, yeah. Okay, he's heading in with a big German suplex now. Claudio ran down for the BCC save, neatly furthering the mouth-watering Takeshita versus Mox feud for the IWGP title. Adam Copeland came out next to also get ambushed when the House of Black beat him up and stole his wedding ring. Kyle O'Reilly ran down to make the save. It wasn't very effective. Malachi Black held the ring later on, fascinated by how such a small thing could wield so much power over Copeland's life, a kind of reverse Gollum, and not only accepted the barbed wire cage match, but added the extra stipulation that if Copeland loses, he'll have to bend the knee to House of Black, which I presume means joining them. House of Brood confirmed. I thought this was a really simple and effective wrestling angle, really heightening the tension by taking something so important to Copeland. We got a perfectly executed, but also good for sales, advert for the Bucks' new Reebok sneakers, which really makes it feel like they are kayfabe in control of the business and production direction of AEW. Nakada's grin when he hands the shoes to them is now my phone background. Do one beloved family and friends photo! This led into the Bucks quickly beating Matt Sydal and AEW and TNA original Christopher Daniels in a tag team title eliminator. Daniels is one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, so I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude whenever I get to see him in the ring. So imagine my heartbreak when, after being pinned, Matthew got on the mic, said Daniels put his hands on him in the pull-apart brawl last week, so they're going to have to fire him. Daniels has been with AEW since its first wave of signings in January 2019 and has been serving as the real-life head of talent relations behind the scenes. He's been a regular fixture on Rampage, Collision and Ring of Honor this year, so it'll be interesting to see how he's used on screen now he's been let go. Jack Perry applauded the decision on commentary and then poured a can of woo energy over Tony Schiavone. The Elite are doing a great job of being a really fun act to watch while making you hate them for their actions. Tony Storm then cut a tour de force backstage promo promising Serena Deeb she'll end up like every other degenerate in Las Vegas for Double or Nothing, flat on your back with an arse in your face, wondering where the hell your dignity went. Which Deeb responded to by holding a flag and smiling. While Tony Storm wrestled as a babyface, I'm not into this feud. Storm beat Harley Cameron in another good showing, and Tony gurned at Deeb up the ramp afterwards. Serena should really be a heel here. Hook squashed Sebastian Wolf in seconds to then call out Jericho, who, and I still can't believe I'm going to say this, has gotten over his new gimmick with me through sheer force of will. Oh no. It's happening again. That means, no!
I'm getting sucked in to the Jericho mid-card vortex!
Jericho did his over-the-top good guy, so he's really a heel guy shtick, answering the crowd's chants of please retire with thank you. Yes, I'm looking forward to going into the Hall of Fame too. He set up a multi-man match for Hook on Collision, where the winner gets a shot at his FTW title. They scuffled, Shibata made the save, and Jericho somehow busted his head open. Probably a receipt for all the hockey pucks he threw at Shibata's head! Backstage later on, Hook told Renee he'll go through everyone, which didn't sit well with Shibata, who also wants a shot at Jericho. Then Springtime Joe interrupted, somehow still terrifying in a floral print shirt, to say it's sad these two keep playing themselves, because if they didn't, they might actually be dangerous around here. Hook had a rare glimpse of lashing out and getting emotional, shouting he'll fight Joe as he walked off. But the cherry on top was Shibata somehow becoming 2024 Deadpan Buster Keaton. Speaking through his translation app, he's too large to be wearing a floral pattern. Swerve Strickland had the best showing since he won the belt against his former faction mate Brian Cage, putting on an excellent back and forth match, literally in his house of Washington. Swerve won with an arm snap and, appropriately, a house call. He was about to hit an arm concerto on cage to finish the job, but Christian's music hit and the patriarchy attacked him, with Nick Wayne smashing a photo frame of Swerve's family over Swerve's head. It was a really good callback to their 2023 feud, while tying in with Christian's obsession over family. Would have liked to see Swerve horribly injure Cage first, though, to give him a bit of an edge in this build. Not that edge. AEW then finally announced their brand new, huge TV deal next week in Winnipeg. Renee Paquette and RJ City's Meal and a Match show, where they eat a meal and watch a match. I'm definitely going to watch that, to be fair. Just like his go-home promo against Jericho last year, Will Ospreay suddenly made his international title match against Roderick Strong now my most anticipated thing on Double or Nothing. They both cut excellent backstage promos, with Will sounding like the best kind of Guy Ritchie character. He talked about Roddy never respecting him when he was coming up, while Strong replied, Ospreay's an idiot outside the ring. They made me believe they actually don't like each other. In another terrific pay-per-view build, Willow Nightingale had a contract signing segment with Mercedes Moné. Yes, contract signings, they're generic, but it provided the perfect copy and paste backdrop to surprise you with two huge developments in this story. One, Monet is now acting way more heelish, and B, Willow hit a doctor bomb on her through a table. After all these months, the cathartic release of actually seeing Mercedes take a big bump made me almost think the drawn-out build was worth it. It wasn't, but it almost was. And the main event saw Okada beat Dax Harwood in a wonderfully solid wrestling match for the Continental Championship. Okada's chest red with chops, Dax's selling of his neck after a draping DDT off the barricade, but ultimately Okada taking the cheap low blow victory was perfect. Especially because the fireworks were again saved for after the main event. It was announced earlier in the show that Eddie Kingston sadly isn't medically cleared to compete at Double or Nothing because of a real injury he suffered at the weekend's New Japan show, which the Elite took kayfabe credit for. So his replacement was someone who I'm pretty sure there's no way can be medically cleared either, Darby Allin. He, of the recently broken foot, and also was hit by a bus. It was a shocking return, and one that makes a lot of sense to represent Team AEW. He's like Sting going against the NWO. So yay, Darby's back for Anarchy in the arena. But also, oh no, Darby's back for Anarchy in the arena. This was a really good episode at 79%. Now, while you eagerly await Pete's epic Bloodline video, catch up on our other video essays by clicking the playlist on the left.